Well, hello everybody, and welcome back. It's a bit rainy out today. I was gonna go inside for this one, but I'm actually on the roof of an abandoned camp trailer right now. Not the greatest day for it, but hell, it's cool up here, so I thought why not just do the intro up here. So, if you want to piss somebody off, if you want to make them not feel so good, if you want to cause problems, or just cause distress to somebody, well, we all know there's many ways you can do that. But what's one of the ways you can do that? Well, one of them is to make a fool out of them. Now, I think that we're constantly making a fool out of people. It's actually a problem in the modern times, and it's also something that we don't fully realize we are doing, and it's not a 100% intentional thing. So, what do I mean by this? Well, come join me, and we'll figure out how you can not make a fool out of people. Alright, well, we're in a busted up old shack now, but it's a bit drier in here. So, and there's even a computer chair left here that's in not bad condition, although there's a fridge right beside me that's full of mold. But anyway, so, say you're not doing too well, you're a little bit depressed, you're having a set of bad days, you're, just overall you're not in a good headspace. But I don't know that, okay? And so I'm standing on the side of the street. I see you come walking up. And with a big smile on my face and open arms, I go, hey, you know, big smile, waving hello, how are you doing? And being that you're not in a very good headspace, you're sort of somber, you know, you're sort of, yeah, I'm alright. Or you just sort of, quick little head nod, you know, don't smile back, don't behave enthusiastically. Don't at least pretend to be happy, which I know that's not really popular in the self-help space, but you're not pretending to be happy. Well, I have empathy and understanding for how you're feeling, and we've all been there before, it's not a mystery. But in a public setting, or hell, not in a public setting for that matter, but especially in a public setting, how does that make me look? Well, I look like a fool. And I think that actually subconsciously there's a defense mechanism in your brain that is deliberately trying to make me out to be a fool. Because if you pretended, then it would look like we were both, hey, how are you doing? Smile on our faces, right? If, you know, I also wasn't very enthusiastic when I said hello, then we would both look like two people that aren't having the greatest day but are still saying hello to each other. But if I'm like this, and you're like this, then I look like somebody who, I literally look like somebody who's waving to nobody. I look like somebody who just took a shot of crack, a hoot of crack, and is tripping out waving at the clouds. Okay? And I don't think that your conscious self is deliberately doing that to me, but I think a defense mechanism within your subconscious is going, I'm not feeling very well right now. I'm not in the mood for happy-go-lucky stuff right now. And it subtly irritates me when I see somebody acting that way towards me when they can clearly see that I'm not in the greatest headspace right now. So how do I combat that? Well, one way that I can combat that is to make them look like a fool. Will you check out the mold in this fucking fridge? My goodness, look at, there's a dead spider there. There's a couple of old Tapworks beers in here from who knows how long ago. Surrounded by mold. Crazy. So in the self-help space, there's a ton of caring, spiritual / healing journey type advice that's all about don't hide from your emotions. Don't hide them from other people, you know. Be proud of where you are in your journey and be liberated amongst your problems and your concerns, and, you know, don't hold back and don't settle for anybody that doesn't truly connect to you on that plane of existence. And that's all great. This isn't a big criticism to that. Like, I know I sort of target that a lot, but it's really not. I'm just pointing out what I think are some missing elements to this. But at the very same time, there's a myriad of advice that is basically social intelligence. You know, it's how to play the game. It's, you know, how to be charismatic, how to drive a point forward, how to connect with anybody, how to come up with the best comebacks, how to not take shit from people, you know, how to own the room, right? And what I find is, I guess at the end of the day, you can pick and choose which ones you want to be following at whatever time. Probably the best thing is good old balance, merge the two together, is they're both useful. But I think some people relate more to one side of it than the other. And here's where I think society at large is not in a deliberate manner, but they're unknowingly fooling each other by, so you've got these two sides of the coin, right? And in sort of the healing journey kind of vibe there's, and this isn't everybody, but I've heard a lot of sort of, dare I say, nonsense, where it's rude to ask somebody if they're okay. It's rude to say how, like, you know, the classic old "how are you doing" is now considered rude. It's considered shallow. It's small talk. You know, it's traumatizing to somebody who's truly going through something right now, and, you know, you're just saying "how are you doing" as if they're, you know, as if you're obligating them to open up traumas or something like that, or that you don't really care how they're doing. It's just a you know, a shallow-minded thing to say to somebody because you don't have anything more important to talk about. You know, if somebody isn't okay, it's not okay to ask them if they're okay, because, you know, you're contributing to their trauma by making them explain how they are not okay, and that really life is complicated, so no matter what you're going through, you should always be okay, and you shouldn't have to explain because you're a liberated human being, and you should be able to be however you are in this moment, and you're beautiful and whatever. And it's like, okay, but the collateral damage of that is that, for one, "how are you doing" might be shallow, "are you okay" might be shallow, but it's morally ambiguous. It all depends on the person. Somebody could be saying "how are you doing" and they genuinely will, to the best of their ability, to the best of their time, want to connect with you about how you're actually doing. Somebody could say "are you okay" and they could genuinely want to figure out what's going on, for better or for worse, and, you know, try to level things out for you as best as they possibly can. Or they could just not care and just say it because they feel that they have to, in a shallow sort of way. So the statement is actually completely morally ambiguous. You know, labeling any sort of, whether it's rude or not, for any given person to say it is totally moot, because the statement doesn't matter. It's how the person's saying it, what they're meaning it by, what kind of person they are. And no matter what, you don't know that. You don't know that until you actually test the person out a little bit, right? And also, I don't think it's a good thing to complicate speech so much. I mean, speech is just something that we've created to articulate different things, and, you know, "how are you doing" is just a simple thing to say. It doesn't really even have to have any sort of extra connotations to it. It can or it can not. It's just a statement. It's just easier to say. I mean, what would be better in replacement of it, really, at the end of the day. It doesn't, anything else that you try to come up with is too complicated and hard to say, and whether you have the best intentions behind it or not. And what you're doing as also collateral damage is you don't know what these people are meaning when they say, how are you doing, or are you okay? So by either calling them out on that, by explaining some big, long, spiritually significant thing behind it, or by acting as if they're rude, by saying that in some way, or they're damaging in saying that some way, is especially in public, okay? Like, I hate to be vain, but, like, you know, some things are public, some things are private, right? So especially in public, which is where most of these people prey on fooling other people, you are making that person look like a fool. Like, that's also damaging. They look like a fool that doesn't know how to talk to somebody, that doesn't know how to connect to somebody. They look like, you know, somebody who is not socially intelligent. Okay? They look like somebody who is fumbling their words. They look like somebody who is not, you know, judging their friends and family and people around them properly. Like, they look like a fool. So that is damaging to them too, and it's damaging to be doing that in public all the time around people. Like, it's not going to help your journey, it's not going to help their journey, it's certainly not going to help you mesh the two forms of self-improvement and self-help together in a balancing way. So, don't fool people, okay? Just do not fool people. Only fool them if they truly deserve to be fooled. But you don't know if they deserve to be fooled yet. So just don't do it.